cloud. Okay, so I'm recording it right now, and then it said something about you, Kayla, recording it, and it's asked permission.
Okay, it's you know what it is. It's this we downloaded this like AI note-taking thing internally at Mango
Okay.
Oh,
that's
oh,
kicking
oh,
on. Let me just kick that out to be safe because I'd want Zoom to record it. This other, I don't think. Hold on. Oh, this is so annoying. Like, I love AI, but then sometimes it's just in our way.
Because it's definitely recording right now.
Okay, well, you know what it is? It's recording our session, but then I see next to your name the cloud with the recording, like Zoom's actually
Mhm.
recording it through you, Tiffany. So I can't kick this note taker out if you guys don't mind, but we
That's
are
okay.
recording. Okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. Cool.
and can you guys only see the slide? You can't see the bar on the bottom of my computer, can you?
No, I can see on top, it says Joy Lance, www Joy Screen.
Um, I don't see that. I think that's okay. I think that's just more on the top of the actual like Zoom application, but the screen itself looks fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And our audio is okay, Kayla, do you think for you guys?
Yeah, it sounds great on my end.
Okay.
Perfect.
All
So
right.
how do we want to start this? Do we want to have Kayla do the intro slide or do we want to do this?
Kayla, that'd be fun. Why don't you do the intro
Not to put you on
slide?
the spot, Kayla, sorry.
No, no, not at all. This would be great. Yeah, we can kick it off. Just remind me again, what's the following slide after this, just so I know how to kind of tee it off to the next one.
So the next one is Joy's.
So
And
I'm going to introduce myself and do my disclosures, and then Tiffany's going to do hers.
yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, yeah, we can give it a go here.
Okay, ready?
Awesome.
3, 2, 1.
Hey there, everyone. Thank you so much for taking time to. Okay, hold on. Redo. Hold on.
Cut.
But hey, hold on. Hold on.
See?
I
It's
was not expecting this.
beautiful.
Huh?
It's beautiful.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hey everyone, this is Kayla with Mango Voice, also with Tiffany Rubin and Joy Lance, some of the best within the industry to talk about the one message and one journey, the power of communication. So we're going to be going through today an entire presentation of how you can effectively communicate within the office from front to back throughout the entire patient journey. So we'll be highlighting a lot of key tips, tricks, and some technology that'll help you along the way. So we will first kick it off by introducing one of our fabulous presenters here, Joy, and I'll kick it off to you, Joy.
Thank you so much. And thank you again to Mango for sponsoring this presentation and bringing all this information out to the world. So, as Kayla said, my name is Joy Lance. I have been a dental hygienist forever, since the 90s, which is a really long time. My main thing that I do now is I'm a myofunctional therapist. I'm also an IBCLC, and I'm a speaker and consultant. So I love to partner up with Mango to educate offices about how wonderful their phone services are. I just want to do a few quick disclosures. So I do own Joy Lance Transforming Oral Health and Airway Growth Consulting. I do develop courses and I'm an educator for that website. And I host a free study club called Dental Innovation Study Club. And as you can see, I do have quite a few sponsor relationships, including Mango and many others. So thank you again.
I am so excited to be here tonight, especially with my friend Joy and Kayla. Thank you so much. And Mango Voice, we love everything that Mango stands for, the technology, innovation, and the pure support with the dental teams and being able to really support the patient experience and elevating patient care in every way. And I just can't wait to get into it. But Joy said it best. We are here tonight to really educate and support our community and bringing the best in innovation and to share. And so, yes, my name is Tiffany Wibben, and I am the founder and CEO of the Hygienepreneur. I'm also the co-founder and COO of Lead 360 Academy, author of Hygienepreneur and co-author of Culture Catalyst book, and founder of the Dental Mastery Alliance Study Club. global speaker across various industries, and I've been in dentistry for 30 years. And so I just love to present on anything dentistry and practice management. And yeah, so it's just a lot of fun to be able to get out there and support all the dental professionals and in a big way and to learn and network and grow, right, Joy?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think this is going to be a testament to what it means to really be a team player. And I know that is like a big highlight on your slide here, team culture, right? So being a team player is what's going to make your patients feel most comfortable. And that's what we're going to focus on tonight.
100%. And everybody plays a role here. Everybody.
Absolutely.
So we're going to be really talking about that from start to finish, that everybody has a role in really elevating patient services and gaining the patient for life and playing a part in that and how important.
And being really effective. I know when we started putting this presentation together, one of our titles was passing the baton. And I love that visual because that's exactly what it is, right? Gathering all the information from the patient and making it look so seamless,
Right.
going from the front office to the back office to the dentist, back to the front office, and just the patient being so comfortable and not having any hiccups along the way. So I'm
A
excited.
common thread, right? You said it best, Joy, the other day when we were talking. It was a common thread from one team member to the next. And again, patient doesn't know that the information was seamlessly passed from one to the next. And they just assume that everybody knows everything about them, right?
Right.
So our
All
course
right, so let's
objectives,
first
yeah.
go over our course objectives to get us started. So first, we're going to recognize how first impressions impact the entire patient journey and team strategies to build trust, capture the needs of not only the patient, but of our team and personalized care for our patients from the very first phone call. We're also going to talk about implementing team-based communication tools like Mango Voice to align the front and the back office, which is going to reduce miscommunication, streamline patient planning, and again, just having that seamless handoff from the front to the back, which is amazing customer service.
And you really notice the difference, right? When it's seamless and when it's not, right?
Yeah, for
We've
sure.
seen
When it's
that.
chaotic versus
Mhm.
just smooth.
For sure. And we're going to discuss how to enhance the patient experience through consistent, personalized messaging across all touch points from the first contact, which is the first phone call, right, to the clinical care to wrap up, right? And we're also going to leverage the technology and talk about the intentional communication to increase treatment acceptance, boost online reviews, and create loyal referring patients for life. Just really raving fans, advocates that are going to go out there and spread the word and bring us more new patients and give us great reviews and bring us a lot of friendly patients.
Absolutely. All right, so let's get started.
Yeah.
What are some pain points? What's getting in your way in your
So
practice with these things?
yeah, so what I've seen was communication breakdowns. I mean, Joy, you and I talked about that. The front and the back just not communicating and or maybe partial information being shared between the front and back and not completely sharing all the information or maybe not sharing the most important information, right? And making sure we're listening to our patients and picking out what's really important to them. Missed opportunities during the first patient contact. I mean, my goodness, we've had that. I mean, 30 years in dentistry, we didn't have this technology where we could gather all the information seamlessly. We had to take notes with a pen and paper. I mean, my goodness, we had paper charts. We didn't even have computers. So, and I think we even had scheduling books where we didn't, we just scheduled in the book with
Right.
a pencil
We
and if there
talked
was
about that too, right? Our red and our blue pencils that we were
yes,
used to using. Yeah.
yes. So
That's so true.
so much has changed and it's just wonderful to be able to see it from both ends, right?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so some other things that may be getting in the way is inconsistent messaging throughout the patient journey. So we know that this can be a problem. This is where the hiccups are going to show up throughout the practice, right? It's not going to be as seamless as we want it to be. And what does that result in? Low trust from the patient, poor treatment acceptance, weak follow through. So we know that it takes so much effort and energy to get a new patient to even pick up the phone and call. So we have to be on point when we are communicating with these patients so we get them to the end to be able to help them with their needs. And then, of course, lost chances to generate reviews and referrals, which really is the lifeblood these days, right? Everyone's on social media. Everyone's checking out your website. Everyone wants to know what others think of you. And it speaks so highly when you're able to get those patients who are very loyal and want to scream from the rooftops about you and about your practice.
And we have to remember that we're on stage. So, it was funny. I was telling a story to a practice that I'm helping, and I said, we can't ever let the patient see us sweat. And they said, well, what do you mean? I said, they should never know that the crown is not there, even though the patient is there for their crown to be delivered. They should never know that. It's like the front of the house should never know the craziness that's going on in the back of the house, right? Everything needs to be seamless and just have a flow and a vibe. Like there's control and the communication is happening and people are handled and everything is executed seamlessly, right?
Right. We're going to figure it out no matter what
Right.
is happening.
Right, we're gonna
Absolutely.
figure it out. If somebody who has a free time has to run to the lab and get that crown, well, they better go do it. And you know what? The patient will never know the difference, right?
Right. That's so true.
For
So
sure.
let's talk about all the steps in our patient's journey as they come through our office. So the perfect patient journey, right, starts, like Tiffany said, with that very first phone call and who's on the other end of that phone call and how reliable is our phone system and how can our phone system really support us in what we're trying to do. So I know Kayla's going to come on later and talk about Mango, but they have so many amazing new benefits and new things that are popping up that just blow my mind. Again, I've been in the dental world since 1995. I started out assisting, and it is crazy to think back and look at where we're at now to see how technology has helped us along. So that first phone call is going to connect that patient to our front office team. And then that front office team is going to gather all that really important information and they're going to relay it to the back office team. So when that patient does come in, we already know what's happening with the patient. And it just makes it such a beautiful appointment. I feel like the patients really feel heard when we're able to have that great connection between the front office and the back office.
That's so true. And then, of course, the dentist moment, right? Because we've gathered all of this information, and just like the baton or the common thread, it's gone from that first phone call to the front office team member to the back office team member, and now they've handed it off all the information to the dentist. Now he or she can have their moment and shine and impress that patient, and the patient just says, whoa, even the dentist knows everything about me. So that's what we're trying to execute. That's what we're trying to accomplish is those wow moments, right? And when the doctor can get involved in that, then you know you're crushing it. And then of course, after that visit, we're getting a follow-up text. I mean, my goodness, when the patient is loving us, seamlessly a text is coming through and saying, "Hey, how did we do? Give us some feedback." And you want to do it right away, right when they've had that great experience, right when they felt that warm and fuzzy and had a really great memory with whatever team member where they were with them that day, whether it was the hygienist or the front office or wonderful assistants or what have you. And then, of course, in the end, what are we going to gain? The biggest goal, we're going to gain a patient for life. So we're going to break this down further, right, Joy?
Yep, let's do it. So, of course, as we talked about, we know the first phone call is going to set the tone for the whole appointment, right? This is going to start off your relationship with these new patients that are calling your office with whatever needs that they have, right? And it's our job at the front office to really be able to be really skilled. I mean, the front office staff that I work with is amazing. And the teams that I work with are so they're able to pull the details out from the patient over the phone. And they do take really great meticulous notes. So we are able to connect to the back. But if you don't have a good front office team who knows how to get that information out of the patient, you're going to drop the baton at that point, right? So we really need to have the questions to be able to build the trust and understand what the patient's true concerns are. And kind of like Tiffany said, like being able to feel out your patient, right? Are they nervous? Are they anxious? Are they scared? You know, offices I work with, we do frenectomies on infants, and we have moms calling who are petrified for their infants to have to come in for these procedures. So having someone over the phone to be able to relax them over the phone, make them feel calm, and really start that trust factor is huge. Um, this is going to allow for tailored communication and, of course, our treatment planning, right? So when we're able to have the front office ask the right questions, know where the parents are coming from, make those connections, that's where that's going to end up. And it's going to start that seamless flow of information all across the team, from the front to the back to the dentist. And just like Tiffany said, this is going to make the patient feel comfortable. It's going to make them feel heard and valued. And they know that when they're coming into the office and they're going to come to the back, they're not going to have to repeat the whole story of what's happening and their whole background, because we've been able to capture all of that through that first phone call. So we can just continue the story when they're in the chair. So Tiffany added this Warren Buffett quote, and I love it because it's so true. And it says it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. So
So true.
imagine that. When we're in, we can't have a bad day. We have to answer that first phone call the right way all the time for great customer service to start.
So, Joy, it's kind of brings me back to hospitality before I went into dentistry, and we always had to be on point. It was all about the customer experience. And I really love that Mango Voice is bringing the customer service experience back. So at the Ritz-Carlton, they would actually capture the guest wants and needs. And so all of us knew exactly what that guest wanted, exactly why they were there, what special events they were celebrating, how they liked their coffee. I mean, we knew everything about that guest. And it was translated throughout the team. And we always called them by their first name or their last name, right? Whatever they preferred. And I love that Mango Voice is capturing that and really elevating the guest experience, the patient experience by bringing hospitality back into the dental practice. I
That's a really great point, because the practices that I work with that use Mango, that's the beauty of the Mango
right.
system, right? So not even talking about our new patients, but talking about our existing patients who are within our practice, their information is popping up within the Mango system. So as soon as your phone rings, you know who's calling you. So you can answer the phone saying, "Hi, Mrs. Jones. It's great to hear from you today. How can we help you?" You already know who the patient is. So
100%.
it's such a leg up on that experience for existing patients as well as new patients.
Well, and patients view that experience as elevated care. So they come in, they get a dental cleaning, and you treat them like that. Well, they just think they just got the best cleaning in their life. So
Yeah.
they correlate the way that they're treated personally to the value of the treatment, the crown prep, the hygiene visit. They're like, "Oh, I just had the best crown done." And all we did was capture the specific moment and their wants and needs, and we captured everything that was special for them in the system, and we made sure that we read that and we used it, right? And that's what makes it so much better for people. And that's how we can do things different than another dental office down the street. We've got to treat them with hospitality and make sure that we're grabbing their attention with, hey, we care about you. We care about you enough to remember the specifics. Thank you, Mango Voice, for helping us remember the specifics, right?
And, realize that they're a person on top of it
Yeah.
all, right? So
Yeah.
that's so much more than a patient. Yes, they're a patient, but they're a
Hmm.
person too. So listening and really getting their favorites and their preferences, like that's huge because it is so individualized for that patient.
Right. And a lot of practices are shorthanded and they don't have time to take the notes. We've got some great front office teams that they're just trying to do their very best. I mean, they're doing all the things. I always tell hygienists, guys, we see 8 to 10 patients. Our front office are seeing like 80. They're checking in, checking out, they're answering phones. It's really hard for them to capture every conversation. So anything that we can do to help them elevate the patient experience and then also help them be able to focus on the things that they do best, right? And building that relationship and the trust with the patient, then that's what we need to focus on. So,
That's
so
so
leaning
true.
on technology is great for sure. So can we talk about a little bit about like the new patient acquisition cost? It really floored me when, when I'm working with practices and I share this with teams, the importance of really we've got to make sure that we're gaining that new patient from that first phone call, that we are booking them because it costs the practice between 250 and 500 for every new patient that calls in. And capturing a patient during their first call to a dental practice is critical, especially considering the investment that's involved. I mean, they're investing in marketing strategies and a lot of email campaigns, Google ads, social media, leveraging SEO. I mean, that's what all of this cost comes from, right? Yelp, anything these doctors are doing trying to gain the new patient. So when we have a strong first impression and effective communication during the initial contact, practices can maximize their return on investment, convert potential leads into loyal patients, and sustain long term growth. So they're going to have more conversion, right?
Absolutely.
And that's
Absolutely.
what's important because we're always watching those new patient numbers. Yes, we're always concerned about, the front door, those new patient numbers coming in and I always talk to teams about, yeah, I got to close the back door because we don't want
Right.
anybody leaving out the back. But we've got to make sure that we're converting that. So I also like that Mango Voice has the calls recording, right? So like I have a team member that I'm training right now in the front and I'm giving her positive feedback on the way that she is handling new patient calls because the calls are being recorded and I'm able to hear her communication skills and everything that we've been working on, she's using and she's doing so great. And so it's great. It's great to be able to say, "Hey, that was really good the way you responded," and to capture those moments and to utilize it for training is such a plus.
And it's really awesome too because in the practices I work in personally, we have staff members who answer phones and getting to play back how excited the patients are and how happy they are to have an appointment made and hear the interaction between our front team and the patient. Like getting to replay that and really give them props for their job and what they're doing and having that great patient conversion also. It's
Mhm.
amazing.
And we have practices that actually put it on a tally board. Like I've worked at implant institutes where they do the big all on X cases, and
Yeah.
actually in California they have a call center where they hire actors to do all their first calls, right? And you see them smiling and they're very animated and because they're actors and these new patients call in and they are closing these new patients and getting them appointed and there's a tally board and it's exciting and they get prizes and it's fun and so it's kind of neat when you practice a type of communication and you're following the protocol of the practice and it's working and you get that positive feedback from leadership. I mean, it's motivating. It's really
Yeah,
motivating. And as a
yeah,
leader, it's motivating to see your team grow, right? And utilize the things that you're trying to teach them, that they're actually, because you can't always be there watching them with a bird's eye, right? So
right.
having that as a teaching tool is really a plus too.
Agreed.
Hmm.
All right, so let's move to our next section. Of course, we talked about our front office team. So first impressions matter. Getting that first phone call, making sure that we are gathering what the patients need. And of course, through Mango Voice, we're able to document details through really great communication systems to be able to get it from the front to the back. We are identifying early concerns. So for some people, we know that it's finances. For some people, we know that they just don't want to come to the dentist, that they're scared just to even walk through the door.
Yeah.
Like I said, in the practices I work with, we're dealing with infants that need releases. Parents are very nervous, so they need that connection right off the bat so they know they're coming to the right place. Um, it gives us a chance to share insights with the clinical team, which is huge. And then it starts the patient journey with care and intention, for sure. All right, next we're going to move on to the back office team. So this is that thread that we talked about, right? The invisible thread connecting the front team to the back office team, because we know that the more information that our front office can get, that's just going to help the back office team once the patient gets chairside, right? We're not going to have to, number one, review everything all over the place. We're going to know exactly what the patient's chief concern is, right? We're going to know maybe where else the patient has gone, what other referral sources we can work with. So all of that is going to be huge for the back office to be able to continue to ask questions specifically for what that patient needs, therefore delivering that personalized experience for that patient. So of course, the back office is going to review all the key information, those chief concerns that our patients have, to make sure that we are really giving them not only what they need, but what they want and what they came in for, right? We need to address those things because that's going to reinforce trust with the patient. And they're going to know that when they talk to the front office team, they were actually heard. And they're going to feel like their care is very personalized and individualized for what they need and what they want. Of course, it's going to maintain consistent messaging, right? When we have the same information coming through the front that we have coming through the back, it's going to, again, make everything look seamless. So we're not interrogating the patient again over the same things. And this is going to make our patients feel really comfortable and confident in our office as a whole. So
And
we definitely see this with the practices that I work with.
And don't you think, Joy, too, when we start building trust from the first phone call, then they come in and they have that connection in the front, right? Where they have that confirmation of, oh, these people know me, care about me, they remembered my story. Then when they get to the back office team, they've already kind of built that trust. And so it's
Absolutely.
almost like the front office doing their razzle dazzle magic, they kind of tee it up for us. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. And
Yeah.
the other amazing thing I see is when we have new patients come in, they are so razzle dazzled by the front
Mhm.
office team that they come in knowing who they spoke to. They know that it was Jennifer that they spoke to on the phone or Amanda that they spoke to on the phone because they were so amazing.
Mhm.
So that shows how much of the trust is being built within that first phone call. Like you haven't even met the team yet, but you
Right.
already know who they are.
Well, and it's because of Mango Voice system being able to document and capture the information, it takes the pressure off. Like me being an ex front office person forever in practice management, it takes the pressure off. It's like, oh, Mango Voice has me. They're going to document all of the important things so I don't miss anything. And then I can just concentrate on the relationship. And then I can really super impress this patient when they come in and letting them know that I did remember about their cruise. I did remember that they don't like Thursday appointments and so on and so forth, right?
Yep, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, so it's cool. Like the whole thing. And I just love that, the idea of the patient journey because it really is that from that first phone call and
Looking at it from a totally different perspective, right?
right.
I feel like
Right.
sometimes when we are part of a dental office team, that's your job, right? You're
Mhm.
going into your job, but seeing it from the patient's perspective and what you're able to do to serve that patient and really make them feel most comfortable.
It's so
I
true.
mean, we all have been in places where we could feel the vibe coming in, right? So whether it's going to be a good appointment or if it's already started out maybe kind of weird and you're just giving it a chance. But it's a very big difference when you can start it right off the bat with that first call.
Right. And when you can take that information and go next level with hospitality, you got them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's with that greeting, like that front office person standing up to greet them and say, hello, we've been waiting for you. Thank you so much for coming in today. How was your drive over? And sharing more information with them, showing that you remember. And really just making sure that we're spending that couple extra minutes to pay attention, right? Pay attention to the details. And that's from the front to the back. That's all of us doing that, just being a little
I
bit.
know Kayla's going to talk about like all the Mango perks, but that is
Mhm.
one of the beautiful things about Mango because, like you said, they do have your back. If
Right,
you are at that front desk and you're really crazy and you might not be able to pick up that phone call, Mango's got you covered. They're going to
right.
take care of it for you. So you're right. You don't have to be this
Yeah.
crazy person with all this chaos going about you. You know that it's going to be taken care of and you can get to it when you have a minute to devote your attention to that.
And I remember those days, and that's not fun. And the patient in front of you sees it on your face. I mean, my goodness, we're human beings. We can't fake that, right?
All right.
So it's wonderful that we have another team member, Mango Voice, there with us, helping us in supporting us so that way we can do our jobs well, serve our patients in every way. Because I always say that every person in that practice is a provider. The front office are provider. We're all providers in care. And but we've got to use our tools. I mean, we are the best when we have great tools. So I just love that
Absolutely.
for sure. So what about the hygienist role, right? So let's talk a little bit about the hygienist role since you and I are both hygienists. So I always say this that hygienists have a gift. They can make best friends with a patient, a new patient, within 5 minutes. I mean, we can do that. It's just a beautiful thing. Now, if we've got information and we talk about it, boy, the trust just goes. It's just there. And we gain that patient for life as a best friend. They share things with us that they don't share with everybody. We end up seeing generations of families. It's such a special moment. It's such a special moment when we see where it's treating grandparents and the parents and then the grandchildren and then those grandchildren are going to grow up and have babies and we're going to see those children too. So it all starts with a feeling. It all starts with a patient memory and how we made them feel special and how we made them feel unique. And so it's personalized care that we deliver. We're really good at building patient trust and rapport. We reinforce key messages from the front office, especially when we've got a system like Mango's that's capturing that information. And we can answer questions confidently because we've got all the data in there, right? Because we've all talked about it. And a lot of times, also in our morning huddles, that's one thing too, Joy, that you and I talked about. Having that information too in our morning huddle, it even elevates the communication experience amongst the team. Like, ooh, we're on point because we even talked about it in the morning huddle because it's all in the computer. Like we saw it in there, and we are going to all know this about this patient. Maybe know a certain something about this patient, maybe something that they didn't like, and that's why they left another practice. And we need to make sure we never do that, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so it's not just the good things we have to remember, it's also the things that they don't like that we have to make sure we never do. So, it's those things too, but it's personalized care based on shared insights. And we've got to prepare a patient for dentist recommendations. That's what we do. I always say that hygienists act as treatment coordinators. I mean, every day hygienists are teeing it up for dentists. I know that every single time the hygienist sits there and puts all the information for the exam, and doctor says, and have I covered everything? Do you have any questions about the treatment that we talked about today? And the patient will say, no, I don't have any questions. And then what happens when they leave the room? What happens when the doctor leaves the room? The patient looks up at their hygienist, their very best friend, and says, what did he say? What did he mean by that upper right? I don't even
Do
understand.
I really need that?
Do I really need that? What is
What do
that?
you think?
Yeah, what do you think? Should I do that? Should I really even do that? I mean, this is what happens on the daily. Well, why do they ask these questions? It's because they trust their hygienist. It's the relationship. So,
Yeah.
we support the patients. We are the patient advocates. We are the go-between between the dentist and the patient. And we guide them into care, right? We're partners in the care process with them. And when we have that information that the patients give to the front office, we can utilize that to seamlessly help guide the care plan. We can give the information to doctor, right? And then we can take even more information and put it in the computer, so that way doctor even has an even more well-rounded information port to utilize and really personalize the care for that patient.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I feel like hygienists have the unique opportunity to really take all of that information from the front desk and like data mine into all of that and get really deep. If we think about how healthcare is right now, hygienists are probably one of the luckiest healthcare providers that gets the biggest amount of time that they get to spend with their patient. I mean, think about your doctors that are zooming in and out of their room because they have such a busy day or they're controlled by, corporate hospitals or what have you. But in our offices, we have that time. And
Oh, I
time
love
is,
it.
like you said,
Yeah.
where that trust is built. And you do build that rapport for sure with patients. And they are looking to the hygienist and the back office team for extra reinforcements. So we're very lucky to have the time that we have with our patients.
And I'll tell you something, I know Kayla's going to talk about this, but Mango Voice and the technology behind saves us time, so that way we can execute even at a higher level of for the patients and give that personalized care. Focus on the bidirectional relationship between systemic health and oral health. Go deep into those medical histories. Don't just say, "Do you have any changes?" Patient says no.
Right.
Really spend the time and go, okay, what's going on with this patient in their oral health? Do they have diabetes? Do they have, other systemic issues? What is going on with this inflammation? Well, if we've got backup and we don't have to do some of these other things that the technology can do for us, then guess what? We can focus on the things we do best, and that is taking care of our patients, elevating
Right.
the patient experience, and uh, uh, building the patient relationships and building the trust, right? And having
Right.
more fun with our jobs. I mean,
For
that's
sure.
what I want to have, right? I want to do the things I love to do. I don't want to do the things I don't like to do, right?
Yeah.
Let the technology handle it. So, and the patients see it when we're having a good time, they see it. So, it's just wonderful for sure. So, let's talk about the dentist, right? Let's talk about the dentist shining moment. So, The dentist transforms insight into patient confidence. So we make the dentist look really good. The dental team makes the dentist look really good. I mean, from the first phone call, we're capturing the information. We're standing up. We're saying hello. We're giving the hospitality times 10 greeting, right? We're making sure their children are cared for. We're making sure they're comfortable. If they look cold, we're giving them a blanket. We're anticipating their needs before they even know they need it, right? It's called anticipatory care, right? And so we make the dentist look so good. And when we're gathering all that information and when Mango's gathering in, it again, next level, right? So doctor can present treatment clearly and compassionately because he's got all the information or she's got all the information. We can use insights captured through Mango's voice to personalize the communication. We can address unique patient needs with tailored solutions. Patients like things tailored. They don't want a cookie cuttered solution that we offer to everybody, right? We want to sit down and say, patient, what do you think? This is what I'm recommending, but what do you think about that? It's a collaboration when it comes to patient care, right? And we want to build that trusted partnership through active listening and empathy. And when doctor has the time to really sit and listen to our patients, to listen to his or her patients and build that trust, I mean, it's beautiful, right? And that reinforces the confidence, and they're just going to accept treatment because patients like, you know what? Doctor's team is amazing. They love me. That means the dentist must be awesome because the team is awesome. That means doctor's dentistry must be amazing, exceptional. So yeah, I want to be here. I picked the right place, right? So treatment acceptance goes up. Our of course, our production goes up. Reviews go up. I mean, we're going to talk more about reviews, but all of that, it's just a ripple effect of positivity throughout the practice, for sure. Wouldn't you agree,
It's
Joy?
really that seamless, invisible thread, right? That starts
Yeah,
at the front desk, comes to the back team. We all know that whether you're the assistant or the hygienist, you're pulling that dentist off in the hallway to make sure that dentist knows what's happening with this patient, like you said, to make them look good. And how
yeah,
do we do that? By having all of our information ready and making sure the dentist knows what that patient is here for and what their concerns are so we can address that and help alleviate any concerns that they might have. So
for
yeah,
sure.
dunk.
Hmm. That was a slam dunk. I
It
love it.
was.
Yeah,
We're gonna have some more sport terms. I mean, think about a volleyball game. You got the bump, you got the set, and you got the spike. So when we bring it back up to the front desk, that's what we're doing. We're
yeah,
having that closing touch. We're having that full circle moment where we're wrapping things up with the intention of taking care of that patient and making sure that they feel heard and they're getting exactly what they want. So
yeah,
of course, we're going to confirm next step. We're going to make our future appointments. We're going to thank our patients, thank them for being a part of our team. And the more we are communicating all of the things back to them that they told us, that's where that trust is going to come in. So those keynotes are going to stay in their charts forever. So we always know what's happening and everyone on the team knows what's happening. And it does, build that continuity, which lets the patient know that they can be really confident in the dental team that they're choosing. And of
hmm,
course, that's going to leave a really great lasting positive impression. So when we do send those emails or text messages afterwards and ask, how did we do today? They are going to give us a slam dunk review and let all the public know that they were taken care of. And it's amazing how specific patients are. I mean, when you are taking care of, them or their children and you are very intentional, they remember that. They do feel validated because again, going back to healthcare and how it is these days, they feel very rushed. So when they're actually in a dental practice and they feel nurtured and they feel heard, it almost is a different situation for them. They're not used to it. So it is very memorable, and it's going to make them want to write that review and send all of their family and friends to you.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk about building a practice, right? Reviews and
Absolutely.
patient touch points. So it's absolutely incredible. I mean, this is the thing. And when I'm working with teams, I'll share with them, the best time to ask for a review is when you get a compliment or your patient is experiencing warm and fuzzies. And so Mango Voice knows how to do it. When the patient is feeling it, that's when they get the prompt, right? So Mango Voice's review integration makes building online reputations an absolute breeze for dental practices with seamless Yappy integration. And that's a tool designed to simplify workflows and improve patient communication. And the review requests are automatically sent after positive patient interactions. So right away, right? This means the practice is capturing feedback while it's fresh, helping them rack up more reviews, boost their Google visibility, and draw in new patients. Plus, it works perfectly with top dental software like Dentrix, Open Dental, and EagleSoft, saving the practice time and strengthening patient relationships while growing the practice. And I think this is like the biggest struggle for practices. And maybe Kayla later can touch upon that more. But it seems like when I'm working with teams, that's the big awkward moment, right? They're like, how do I ask for a review? And I'm like, it's so easy. When they give you a compliment, that's when you do it. But Mango has taken it out of the mix for you. So patients feeling it, they're feeling the vibes. Everybody's crushed it. They've done so well in elevating that patient experience. And guess what? Then the patient gets the prompt and they're going to go ahead and give you that review. And you watch what happens to your stars, right? You watch what happens. And I think it's like once you hit 100 Google reviews, it's like a domino effect. Reviews build reviews. So it's just exceptional. So it is something to focus on. It's really important. It's really important. So it's good that we have that integration in there, right, Joy?
Absolutely agree. I mean, everybody is just like this picture. They're on their phones all the time. They are looking you up. They are looking up your reviews and they are reading your reviews before they make a phone call. So, encouraging patients to give those good reviews and really get on Google is huge. So, I could not agree more.
Yep, for sure.
So that's exactly what we're talking about here, right? Getting that slam dunk after we have put the work in. We've put the work in from the first call to the back office, whether it's assistant or hygienist, and then passing it off to the doctor and then bringing it full circle back to the front desk. So that is going to be what elevates your practice, right? That's what's going to set you apart is having that great communication and the synergy between the front office and the back office. So everyone can truly work as a team together and keep them aligned with their focus on the one thing that matters most in the office that day, and that's that patient. It's going to reduce miscommunication, which boosts efficiency. We're making sure that we're hitting the mark on what that patient wants. And they're going to be waiting to come back. They're going to be waiting to come back and they're going to want to give you good reviews. When patients get good care like this and they feel so taken care of, like I said, they really do want to share with all the other people that they know. And as I said already, we work with a lot of parents. And I will tell you, you take care of a mom and her baby and her family, and she is going out and telling all of her mom friends about you. They are going to know your name and they're going to be referring people back to the practice.
That's so true. And I always say that we are in the customer service business who happens to provide exceptional dental care, I should say. And Voice is ensuring the customer service is there, the hospitality is there. And so we have to do things different. We have to do things different. There's so many dental practices out there. So how can we elevate our patient experience? How can we elevate our care? How can we elevate that patient moment and build those trusting moments like you're talking about, Joy. And it's really having the time, right? And so we've got to capture the time. And so with Mango Voices technology, it's giving us more time. It's giving us some time back. And that's really, really important when you're building a practice. And I love this. I love this slide: synergy, partnership, achievement, innovate, teamwork, cooperation, and vision. And so the entire team has that vision of gaining patients for life, serving with hospitality, customer service, next level care. And in turn, that's what you're going to get. You're going to gain the patient for life, and you're going to have a healthy work life and great culture and have a lot of fun at work. And because you're serving and you feel good about your job, and it's good, right?
And it's worth noting, talking about customer service, that Mango has outstanding customer service. I can vouch for this because
Oh yeah.
I work in a practice that uses Mango Voice. And, it's not very often that we have issues with Mango Voice, but man, when we do, we know that we can count on them to be there for us, which is great because we depend so heavily on them. So it's not fluff when they say all the things that they say. Using it in a practice, you really get to see how it integrates into the practice and see how amazing that it really is.
Yeah.
So we love Mango Voice.
They really stand behind their brand. I mean, just yesterday I texted Kayla and I was like, "Hey," because I'm working with a practice. I manage a practice in Minnesota, and I'm like, "Which plan do they have?" And she got back to me, boom, and she said, "This is the plan. This is what they have." And then I was like, "Doc, this is what you have. This is what's going on." And so we can make a decision to expand the plan, right? And do something better within Mango Voice and add something. And so because we're training teams utilizing Mango Voice's technology. And so it was just awesome that Kayla was able to get back to me so quickly as a trainer and coach. So yeah, just amazing, for sure, for sure.
Thank you
So I
both.
piggyback
That's
you on
something,
that, Joy.
yeah, that's something we take pride on is we touch thousands of dental offices, but ourselves at Mango, we're a small town, St. George built company. And we like that personal touch. And we want to make sure you don't feel like one in a million out there. It's really easy to get lost in those other phone companies where you might feel like one in a million, but
Mhm.
we want to make sure that our offices feel that same reciprocation of the care that you're giving your patients. We want to give that back to you. So thank you both for
Yeah,
doing that.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, you totally live that. It's like the whole Mango Voice technology and serving the patient and making them feel like number one unique. Well, that's what you make the dental practice feel like we're the only customer you have. So thank you for that so much. So great. So again, creating patients for life, right, Joy? I mean, that is the number one goal. If we could have patients for life, we'd have no problems.
right.
And this is why it all matters. A connected team leads to higher treatment plan acceptance. We all want to come into work and have full schedules, right? And exceptional experiences turn patients into lifelong advocates. So they're out there talking. Like our nice, friendly patients are out there telling other nice, friendly patients about the great experience they had. And then guess what? They're going to come in and be new patients into our practice. And that's awesome. And so they're going to refer all their family and friends, and that's just great. And every touch point matters in gaining and retaining patients. So from the first phone call to the very end, like Joy was talking about, the final set and the final crush it, that's it. Full circle, right? It
Yep.
has to be seamless, everybody on the same page, everybody speaking the same language. It's almost like we're all, yes, we're calibrated providers clinically, but we also need to be calibrated with our communication too. So with Mango Voices technology, that really helps us to all be calibrated with the way that we speak, the way we communicate, and it really helps to reduce misunderstandings amongst the team members, and also misunderstandings and miscommunication amongst the patient. So, and that just builds trust amongst team, and it builds trust between patients and the team and doctor as well, right?
Absolutely.
So great.
So this is the end goal, right? This is what Tiffany and I have been talking about the whole evening, the ultimate goal, an exceptional patient experience. So starting with that first phone call, really listening to the patient's unique needs, wants, what is their chief concern, right? Being able to have a back office team who can personalize care that is going to stick with that patient. I guarantee you that they're going to remember your name when they write that review for your practice. Building strong, lasting relationships with your patients. That's what we want. That's how we're going to keep them coming back, by letting them know that they are taken care of and they're heard when they come into the practice. Of course, we're creating consistency across the entire team, front to back, and reinforcing a culture of excellence with every visit, which again, that speaks to not only new patients, right? We know that our new patients are very important, but so are our existing patients. And that's where Mango is actually able to support us so well, by being able to call out who your patient is on the phone the minute they call, and having just this great back and forth communication to make that patient just taken care of right away.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point. It's like you can't roll out the red carpet just for the new patient. You've got to keep
Right,
that red carpet pulled out for your existing patients also. And, with Mango Voices technology, it keeps us on point. Like, okay, we're ready. Remember, we're on stage. For our new patients, we're on stage. And for our existing patients, we're on stage. It's like, it's not just, our hair is, kept, and yes, we've got our uniforms nice or whatever. No, it's how we present ourselves, and how we communicate, and all of those things, and making sure that we are always speaking that common language, and with that same energy. New patient gets the same energy as the existing, and vice versa, right? We just can't lose our edge just because they've been a
right.
patient for 20 years, right, Joy?
Right, absolutely. You
It's a
want
good
to take care of
point.
all of our patients.
Mhm. Yeah. So gaining that patient advocate for life, every patient interaction shapes your brand. It's the power of the brand. I mean, it's like when the team is behind the brand, behind the culture of making sure that every patient is served in a big way, patient feels it. They know, and that's why they keep referring, right? Personalized touches, making sure that we are intentional in our approach to care, that we're making sure that we are actually serving our patients even when they don't even know they need something. We're like, "Are you cold? Let's get you that blanket." And they're like, "Oh, I didn't even realize I was, but yes, I am." Right? So it's those moments, being thoughtful and being intentional, and being like you're recognizing what's happening, and being aware, right? Being aware of your surroundings and what's happening. Small moments create lasting loyalty. Having those small moments, like when I was cleaning a patient and I made a mistake. I didn't give her back her night guard. And I worked 7 to 7 doing hygiene. And she was my last patient. And so at the end, I was cleaning my room and I went, "Oh, she left for that softball field, and I forgot to give her her night guard." So what do you think I did? I got in the car and drove it to the softball field, and then I watched her daughter play. I sat in the stands and watched her daughter play. So it's that moment, that memory, right? Taking it another level. I mean, any other dental office down the street would have just said, "Yeah, it'll be here tomorrow," right? No, I got in the car and drove it down to the softball field. And any of our team members would have done the same thing because of our brand, because we believed in the brand. Empower teams delivered consistent experiences. So we love to empower our teams. Advocates refer, return, and grow your practice. We love patient advocates, right, Joy?
Absolutely. And when you're doing the right thing, it's not forced, right? You're not going to have to
Yeah.
beg your patients for reviews. When you are doing the right thing and you're making your patients feel this kind of taken care of feeling, again, they're going to want to tell their friends and family to come and experience what they are getting at your practice.
Yeah, because they're not getting it anywhere else. And
No,
it's different. And so they're being nurtured and cared for, and they're going to be like, you know what? I want everybody I know to feel this too. So it's amazing for sure. So what are some self-discovery questions do you think, Joy, that we can chew on?
Yeah. So let's think about, how does seamless team communication show up in your daily workflow? What do we use for really great team communication? Route slips?
Yeah, routing slips is a
Notes?
good one.
Do we use notes in our system so we can always look back before that patient's coming in and, maybe know what the parent's name is and know what their chief concern is and be able to hit that really head on as soon as they come in.
Right. Well, and all of Mango Voice's communication is seamless. And so, incorporating that, it just makes it easy. And the neat thing is with our teams, and this, Joy, and this too, Kayla. If it's easy, the team's going to use it. If it's hard, they're not going to use it because they're too busy. So Mango Voice has made it easy. And so teams are going to jump on, integrate it, use it,
Right.
and of course they're going to crush it because they're using it, and it's amazing technology. So it's great. Yeah.
I agree. All right. What part of the patient journey feels most vulnerable to communication breakdown? I can see it being a lot of things. We talked about how the front office staff that team can just get bombarded with patients checking out and the phone ringing off
Yeah.
the hook. And, that's where Mango is going to shine, right? Mango is going to be able to assist the front office team with those kind of issues.
Yeah.
Um, Maybe if
I
we don't have enough time to take really great notes for our back office team to kind of pass that baton and make sure they have all the information that they need.
as a hygienist, and I'm sure you can attest to this, Joy, how many times have you documented all your charts at the end of the day?
Oh, yeah.
So, how much really good information did we probably not put in there because we either forgot, didn't have time, or we're just like, "Oh, I got to pick up my kid at softball. I'm just going
Mm,
to put in the notes for the billing and not all the extra stuff, right?" So
yeah.
that happens.
Back in the pen days when you had to put in the pen in the chart. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is just that's some communication breakdown, right? And then, maybe the next provider says, "Oh, that note isn't in here." And then the patient says, "I told her. I told her." So and then we don't look efficient, right? We don't, and then
Right.
the patient equates that to not being cared for properly.
Right.
And all it is a miscommunication breakdown, but they equate it to not being cared for properly. So, that's another example for sure. So what tools are helping or could help your team stay aligned?
Well, of course, we talked about Mango Voice. Can we
Mhm.
get Mango Voice for the back office? So we can just dictate it into and it will like write our notes for us because that would be amazing. I have
That
an
would
idea,
be
Mango
amazing,
Voice. Let's talk.
especially
Um,
since I just brought up the one thing where
yeah,
we're
yeah,
documenting 8 charts at once, right?
exactly, exactly.
Where could small shifts and handoffs lead to big improvements in patient experience? Oh, we talked about it all night, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, having that information when the handoff is done, and I practice this with the teams that I work with, we have an intentional handoff with the steps, right? It's like 5 steps. And we all do it the same way, and we practice it, and we role play. Actually, it's really fun. But when that happens, it's really more for the patient to hear it, right? It's like, yes, we're hearing it, but we kind of know what's going on, but it's really for the patient to hear what's going on. And that way they know that we heard them. And then
mhm,
that just elevates the trust, and that just makes them feel more secure. And then of course, it just streamlines everything, right? So I love handoffs. I just think handoffs, I've worked in practices where, way back in the days where we didn't utilize a handoff, and it was not a good experience for sure. So I appreciate that for sure, and all the communication that goes into it. Yeah,
Great.
there we go.
All right. So
Brother,
that sums up our official presentation.
yeah.
But I just want to introduce myself again and my company. So my name's Joy Lance, and my company is Airway Growth Consulting. If you are buried in patient care and trying to figure out how to incorporate airway into your office or incorporate myofunctional therapy into your office, I'm your gal. I can help you dig out of those gigantic intakes and really get great patient communication and get down to what these parents really want for their kids, which is huge. And the adults too. But, you know, if we know parents, they're going to do anything for their kids. And this is just a great adjunct to what you're already doing in your practice. So if you're interested, please book a free strategy call with me today. You can find me on the internet anywhere.
Yeah, Joy is a gift. She's an absolute gift at what she does. And my name is Tiffany Wibben, and my company is the Hygienepreneur, and I am super passionate about building thriving hygiene departments. So if your hygiene department is underperforming or not performing to its full potential, and you're having some issues with profitability and systems and operations, like sometimes we have, then I'm your gal. I love how you said that, Joy. So yes, we enhance services and elevate hygiene services. We get in there and really hyper focus on operations and efficiency. We look at schedules, and we love to focus on boosting profits, and we love to make sure that patients are properly cared for with our perio assessment protocols, perio protocols. And so I do offer a free strategy session. So there's my information to contact me if you'd like to take advantage of that. And it was
And we would love to introduce the beautiful Kayla to come on and tell you about all the super fun and exciting things that Mango has.
Oh,
yes.
well, thank
And
you both so much. I mean, I can't say thank you enough for just all of the wisdom, knowledge, experience that you brought to this presentation. And it's so rewarding, like you said, Joy. It's rewarding to actually hear when your service or whatever you're providing is out there actually impacting the world. So to hear that we're helping such amazing experts in the field like yourselves too with our technology, it all makes it worth it. So thank you again. And all of the bits and pieces from the beginning to the end of the patient journey, like we talked about, we've, Tiffany, Joy have graciously plugged in Mango a million times there for us. And you're probably wondering, okay, this all sounds great, like in theory, but how does this actually work? So going through that at Mango, we believe that great patient care is possible for every team. Especially, when you have those tools that make it easier to do it consistently. And that's something that was a theme across the entire presentation is doing it consistently, not just great at the phone call and then maybe at the end, but every step of the way. So we'll shift into the how and how do we support your team in staying aligned, avoiding those miscommunications, making every patient feel seen and heard. So that's where Mango AI comes into place. Of course, we're Mango phones still, the phones made simple that you all know and love very well. Nothing has changed there. But we're adding on an AI component that's almost like a smart assistant to your team that helps streamline that communication every step of the journey. And we'll let you know within the next few slides, like what exactly that is made up of. So helping your team stay connected, consistency, building that confidence, really showing more of just like what happened on the phone call, but how that impacted and being able to actually help your front office use that information and not just have all these call transcripts on there. So that kind of leads me
I mean,
to
can we just pause for a minute and talk about how cool this is? This is so amazing to be able to have like your notes written for you out of your calls through Mango. It's just
totally.
mind blowing. I love it.
It is. And so the transcripts is part one, Joy. So at first I was blown away by the transcript part two, because I'm like, how cool. We can actually go back and have this all documented, but it goes steps further. So it keeps
Let's
getting
do
cool.
it.
So actually if we could go back to the last slide. So one thing I want to
Yeah.
highlight with the transcripts here. So everything is completely HIPAA compliant. You're not going to have to worry about your patient's data being safe or not. This is for your internal team to be able to have that full transparency and breakdown and an audit trail more importantly. So every call is documented with a complete and accurate record. This becomes invaluable during those audits, or even if a dispute arises, like you and your team are covered, with the protocols, all the coaching that you go through of what to say, how to handle, conversations. You have that kind of single source of truth here, documenting, holding up your team, ensuring that you're doing the right things, saying the right things, all of that. So that's very helpful. It also comes into play with staff training. So great way to be able to show new onboarding team members, hey, this is an amazing way of like a real life scenario, how you would handle this type of call, this type of objection. Being able to give those real life experiences, listening to that within, a click of a button on your computer as it integrates into your whole tech system, it's awesome. It's ensuring that quality control too. So delivering that level of excellence and those standards and the protocols that you and your team will build within each other. And like I said, too, HIPAA compliance. So that's first and foremost. The recordings are great. You can actually see in the breakdown of the picture here, it breaks down who said what at what time. You can drag and drop, listen at any point of the call, and it highlights office versus patient. So you get a good understanding of how much the office is talking versus patient, because at the end of the day, we know too, we want to be good listeners, and it's easy when you're on the call just to want to gather information. You're in survival mode as the patient's trying to check out. You're on the call, so it's being able to kind of manage and audit that too for you. So the transcripts is part one, and what the AI builds off of too. So on the next slide here, we have the analytics, which is where it gets really, really cool, and where you can take the coaching to a next level. And it's not so much about like what was said, but how it felt and what really went on. So you're going to be able to gain insight into the emotional tone, overall effectiveness of each call with the analytics piece on top of the transcript. So using AI, showing and telling sentiment trends. So visualizing throughout the beginning, middle, end, kind of like the journey we're talking about, visualizing how the tone and just overall reception of that call happened. So whether that started negative, and if it did, we hopefully want to see it trending at a ending positive note, how that fluctuates. So being able to filter through the actual call logs in Mango, you can filter and find, I want to know every time an inbound call came in where the patient was upset but ended on a happy note. You can find those calls within a click. So that's very cool to see. Being able to track the emotional flow of the conversation. And again, kind of like what you mentioned earlier, Joy and Tiffany, is, if you're understanding that someone's nervous or upset, being able to flag those calls so you can have that on track of, hey, this patient was upset or nervous or extremely anxious about this. You can have that noted within your system too. Again, not manually having to do that. And then other things that help, such as like hold time, ensuring that, there's not a lot of holds, office talk time versus listening, the talk speed. So you can make sure that it's like a calm, cool, collected, professional set tone call that you're looking for, especially as you're ramping on new team members in the front. Just having little eyes that help ensure that they're meeting the standards that you're looking for, essentially. So that's really cool with the analytics piece, right, Tiffany? Mind blowing.
It's so crazy.
That's
exceptional.
awesome.
Yeah, technology at like 100 times. It's amazing.
Well, this is as cool as it gets in my book, because Mango is really one of the only in the dentistry field that is doing this right now. So as you know, a lot of us, you're on a Zoom meeting, you're on a call, you can have those transcripts or recorded notes, right? Where we take it a step further is we essentially take a Cliff Notes version, a summary of every phone call. So you're not having to go back and listen to hours of transcripts, because let's be real, who's got time for that? No one, and if we do have time for it, we want to bring that time back to the patient care in person, not doing background admin work. So we're able to take a summary of that call. AI automatically writes that for you, but where it's extra cool, and we're the only ones doing this right now, is we're taking it back and placing it into your patient notes within the practice management system. So
Wow.
yeah, it's a game changer, being able to not have to, again, be present in that phone call, building that relationship, building that trust, versus worrying, oh my goodness, did I write down this detail, that detail? You're actually in the conversation. Let AI do all of that on the back end for you. And then even further, place it in the practice management notes. So not even just the front office can take advantage of it, but I've gotten direct feedback, different conferences Mango's attended. We've had dentists, hygienists come up to us and say, you have no idea how great the automated notes are within the patient notes, because I'm already in there while they're in the chair. I don't have to ask them the same questions. They don't have to repeat themselves. All that context is right there, and they feel so heard. And again, just elevating that patient experience and care, making them feel like, wow, I'm not just another patient here, and this is where I want to call home for my dental office for the foreseeable future. So it really helps you save time, stay focused, and more importantly, put the patient first. So it's really a no-brainer. And everyone that has tried Mango AI, they're like, where was this? How did we function without it? So
So
it's
about that back office Mango voice.
right. So, well, I will say what's great about Mango Voice and what makes us different is we take the time to invest in integrating with pretty much every piece of dental software out there. So
Yeah, that's amazing.
that is an ad, and there's a lot of those type of companies out there that are, you know, mic'd up essentially and want those notes being populated. So that's something we're always interested in looking into ourselves too, to really streamline it to another level. But
Yeah, because this is such a game changer having this so accessible right in the patient's chart. And like you said, I can definitely see dentists and hygienists wanting to come back to listen to what the patient's talking about, to like, just like we talked about this whole night, not having the patient have to repeat themselves and be like, oh, I already said this one time. Like they do feel valued and they feel heard. And that's huge in this day and age.
it
Right.
is. And I will say myself, like I've moved a ton over the last few years, and I feel like I've been hopping around to different dental offices, but I found one that was so on top of their patient journey that I will drive 45, 50 minutes to my cleaning appointment. Like to me, it's worth it because they actually care. They know my concerns and I'm not having to repeat myself. So it, you know, and we can all put ourselves, we're all patients too at the end of the day.
Sure, sure.
So yeah, tools like this again really alleviates the need for team members to have to take the extra time, that admin work, putting it into note taking where you could, you know, reverse and use that energy elsewhere to elevate your brand, your patient experience, all the above. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so
I
we
mean, and honestly, like the practices that I work with, the notes that we are taking is astronomical. You know, when we are talking to parents about coming in for these, you know, different procedures outside of, you know, maybe fillings and SRPs, like frenectomies, you're really digging in about symptoms and, you know, referral providers, who else have you seen? And you're getting like a whole history on the phone call. It's like parents just want to continue to give you all of that information. So this really is a game changer, not having to type all those notes out. That's amazing.
Right. Well, and I think the biggest win here, the biggest thing in dentistry is everybody says, I don't have enough time. So every time I'm training teams, the hygienist will say, I don't have enough time. Well, with this, they gain time so they can do
Right.
all of the things, all of the extra things for their patients. So it's really a game changer for sure.
it is. Yeah. Thank you for pointing that out too. And I think, you know, we went over all these great strategies and things that you can implement starting tomorrow, but the reality is like change is hard. People don't like to change. And
Yeah.
if we can put those easy kind of no-brainer solutions in front of your team, they won't even feel like it's a change. They're not going to complain. They're going to want to adopt it really quickly. And that's something that Joy and Tiffany do themselves within their own programs and coaching, is putting those effective tools and strategies in front of you. And that's why it's such a no-brainer, and why we've worked together is because we all use each other and understand like, hey, these are the easy
Hmm.
changes that we can make that don't feel
Right.
like a change. You know, it doesn't feel like you're ripping off a band-aid and force feeding people to use the tools. It just naturally happens because, you know, good people find good people and good tools, and it all
Right.
so
That's such a good point.
definitely. And if out there, you know, if you're interested, a lot of people out there are already using Mango phones, but if this AI component seems like it would be a great value add and really help with that patient journey, being able to check off some boxes, Tiffany and Joy were so, you know, graciously able to give us their expertise. If this can take you to that next level, take away time, really help you elevate that patient care, we would love to hear from you. You could scan this QR code where we can dive into what that would look like, understanding day to day what that would look like within your practice, going through a demo, showing you some more of the details, we're more than happy to do that. And we're just so grateful to be able to spend time with our great friends and experts, Joy and Tiffany, and being able to go through the patient experience. As we know, that's what sets you apart, especially nowadays. It feels like you can always be that 1 in a million patient going wherever you are. So if you want to be that practice that really takes it to the next level, builds that trust, builds that relationship, and then helping use tools that, continue that communication, Mango is a great company to help partner with to help your team. So thank you so
Could
100%.
much.
not agree more. Thank you so much, Kayla. And thank you, Tiffany. This was such a great night and such a
This
great
was so
presentation.
fun.
So thankful.
Well, Kayla, I appreciate you. Both Joey and I just appreciate you so much, and the rest of the team at Mango Voice, everything that you all have done to support us in education and giving back to the dental community. It's so amazing. Thank you. And Joy, my dear sweet friend, it's always a pleasure. Every single time
Always.
you and I do something together, it's always fun and just friendly and loving and
So
you
fun to
know,
tag team with you,
yeah,
Tiffany.
yeah. So thank you so much. And I appreciate you girls so much. And yeah, Mango Voice, amazing for
Thank
sure.
you so much. All
Can't
right.
say enough.
Awesome. Well,
Cut.
thank you guys.
Okay, I
Oh
think
my
we
God.
ended it.
I seriously thank you so much for taking the time out of your night to do this and bring all the expertise that you guys have. Seriously, it means a ton, and we can't thank you enough.